Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 1st of March, comes to you from London. And we start, as always, by looking at currencies, US stock markets, then we look at Europe and Asia, commodities, and then last of all, some US tech stocks. And really, the key thing was we were all waiting for the Trump address to Congress last night. The dollar seems to have liked that, and it's actually risen quite a lot in the last several hours. It just really has just pushed ahead, and we've taken out the high that we saw on the 22nd of February. So we've really just moving back into new territory again, and so we're bullish on all three charts. Remember, this is my long term, my medium term, and my short term view. Notice that the downside targets have come off this chart. We've found really good support. Dollar strength is returning, so that's really key, and we are seeing upside potential of around 1%. Two targets pointing in that direction, so really quite key there. And of course, that then points to euro weakness. Euro had this resistance at about 106.25, really struggled to break that level, and we're now back below the cloud here, so bearish on all three time frames, and that's not looking great either. Japanese yen against the dollar. We see here the dollar has just rebounded very, very strongly. So we're bullish short and medium term. The long term is just coming through the cloud. And this is really, if you like, for the dollar, the last confirming signal. If we make a new high on the yen above where we saw last year in 2015, then we activate a very big upside target of 40%. So the dollar looking very strong indeed again. Sterling, interestingly, making new monthly lows. So we see here on the daily chart, we're just not quite through on the cloud at the moment. So we just here have struggled to get through the cloud, and we're seeing that we have got that short-term bearishness again, right on support at the moment. But these upside targets that we had an upside target here, and another. These upside targets have come off the chart. That's the key thing, is that thrust off that low has been negated. That's a bearish sign, and we're seeing targets to 121.60 and 170.17. So we're 1770. So we are seeing downside again for sterling, and we're just taking new lows here as well. So not a good looking week ahead. If we look at the euro sterling rate, we see that as well, that sterling has pulled back there. And if we look at the Swiss, it's pulled back as well. And against the Australian dollar, nudging this 161.40 level, just again making new lows, new monthly lows we're seeing on sterling. So we're seeing levels that we haven't seen actually since January now. So that's quite worrying for the chart. Looking at the US stock market, S&P 500 still looks good. It came off last night, but it still looks pretty good on all three time frames, as does the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones. The Dow up very slightly last night, but it's just in a bit of a sideways range. Consolidation pattern before we probably start to run again. So there is a shortage of upside targets right now. So we do need a pullback just to give us a new target. And we're seeing on the Russell 2000, we struggled to make a new high yesterday, and just a sign potentially that we might just pull back in the short term on the broader market. We are seeing this morning that the futures markets are up very slightly, so that's quite interesting as well. Taking a look at the FTSE, FTSE's powering ahead this morning, back above the cloud in the short term, takes us bullish on all three time frames. This 7554 is the target on that short term chart, and if we look at the FTSE 250, it's looking pretty bullish as well. The DAX is still above the cloud on all three time frames. The Nikkei, with that stronger dollar, weaker yen, it's reversed the previous day's fall, up 1.25%. So we are just seeing the Nikkei recovering there quite strongly, back above the cloud. Hang Seng, not quite recovering, and just short term, just showing some signs of bearishness, but bullish in the medium and long term. The Shanghai Composite up 0.5%, and we're just seeing that still bullish on the medium and short term. Long term still has some work to do. And if we look at the Sensex, we see on the Sensex we're actually bullish on all three time frames. India looking very, very strong indeed. Australian market, stronger Australian dollar is just probably having a little bit of an impact there on the Aussie market, and that's falling away a bit as well. Brent had a fall away yesterday. Uh, Stronger dollar this morning hasn't probably helped, but we are just back above the cloud, and so we are just really in this range, teetering on Brent, waiting for a breakout. And the same on WTI, but with our bearish here. US nat gas down a further 0.5% overnight, but just holding on to some short-term bullishness. But this medium-term chart is pretty worrying for US nat gas, so that is not great really. Looking at copper, did recover this overnight, and we are now bullish on all three timeframes on copper, so we're seeing better news there. And if we go straight to the gold price, we're seeing gold just pulling back a bit, having touched this 1260 level, but bullish on medium and long-term charts. So it'd be interesting just to see how long this gold run can continue. And silver is bullish as well. Interestingly, the 10-year yields rose on the Trump address last night, up 2.4% on the 10-year yield, so up to 2.4%. So we're seeing a 1% increase there overnight. We're back at the 240s. Apple still continues to power ahead, as does Google. We're above the cloud there. Amazon, we're above. And Facebook, still all these multiple upside targets looking strong. Did touch 137 yesterday. That's quite strong for Facebook, new highs. And Microsoft just not managing to pull away in the short term, back into bearish territory. I did sell some Microsoft the other day. And Nvidia, interesting. I've finally sold all my holding on Nvidia yesterday. So I sold when I doubled. I sold half my holding. Then they tripled, and I sold another half of the double was left. And now just this volatility at the end of the trend has created some uncertainty, and we do have downside targets. Might have been a bit eager there to sell, but there's lots of other good-looking things around, and it's always good to be able to take a good profit. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.